On 7th of October 2023, Israel was attacked by Hamas guerrilla fighters amidst unprecedented security and military and intelligence failure in Israel. Since then, the war has been going on and Israel has started bombing Gaza and killing civilians, women and children. It is turning out to be a very emotive war. But Israel is also militarily not able to show any victories for itself, because you don't win a war by killing civilians and killing women and children and bombing hospitals. You win a war by capturing the opposing army and turning them into prisoners of war. Since Israel is unable to do that, it seems very curious that the West has not started talking about the danger to Israel's nuclear weapons. It has not started saying Israel may not be able to protect its nuclear weapons. They may go into Hamas's hands. They may lead to the proliferation of the weaponry. And United States of America or the Pentagon has not once said that they actually should take the weapons over from Israel, because the IDF may not prove itself to be a good custodian of the nuclear weapons. I remember when United States of America came to Afghanistan to fight. For as long as the military was governing Pakistan, this was not one of their fears, but as soon as Musharraf's government was ousted and there was a civilian setup in Pakistan, the Pentagon started saying that Pakistani nukes are in danger, that Pakistan may not be able to protect its nukes. They even went so far as to say, for as long as Pakistan is helping the United States fight Al-Qaeda, Pakistan should give its nuclear weapons to the Pentagon to protect, lest they fall into the hands of Al-Qaeda. And so they expressed the fear that the nuclear weapons may be falling into their hands. Even though Pakistan was nowhere near as threatened as Israel is right now. Israel is a much smaller country in size than Pakistan, so it would take an enemy much less time to get anywhere into Israel if Israel was to be occupied and to take over the nuclear arsenal. Israel is also in greater danger than Pakistan was. Israel is surrounded by countries around it that are all hostile to Israel. Pakistan had a friend in China, and although the Western forces, after coming into Afghanistan, after occupying Afghanistan, tried to create as much trouble for Pakistan's Western front as they possibly could, but because of the wisdom and the political handling of Pakistan of this crisis, they weren't able to turn the western areas of Pakistan into Pakistan's enemies who would fight Pakistan. And yet, the West does not fear that Israel's nuclear weapons could fall into the wrong hands, that Israeli military, the IDF, is not proving to be a good custodian of its nuclear arsenal. There is yet another reason that Israel should be disarmed of its nuclear weapons. Israel has an obsessive fear of Iran, and ever since its fight with Hamas started on 7th of October 2023, it has been saying without any basis, without any evidence, that Iran is behind Hamas, Iran is training Hamas, Iran is bankrolling Hamas. Iran has so many problems of its own, and it does not have the liquidity or the capital to be able to bankroll another fighting force. And yet Israel is saying it. It is quite possible that Israel would think of using a limited nuclear weapon against Iran. Just look at what they're doing now. Aren't they committing war crimes in Gaza? And if a military can be so insane as to kill in this way, and it is possessed of nuclear weapons, and it is also irrational and frightened out of its wits, why would it not do that? Israel seems desperate to have a larger conflagration in the area. It seems desperate to have greater dimensions to this war and draw in other countries just so it can have United States of America and other big powers siding with it in the war so it can control Hamas. Compared to that, Pakistan, when it was fighting in East Pakistan in 1971, before Pakistan became a nuclear country. In 1971, when the Pakistani military landed in East Pakistan to fight another guerrilla force there called Mukti Bahini, within days the Pakistan military realized that the Bengalis did not want to live with Pakistan. Within days they realized that the Indian military was playing a very nasty, a very dirty game in East Pakistan. It was actually wearing the uniform of Pakistan military forces because they speak the same language, they look the same way. It was very easy for the Indians to dupe the Bengalis and to go into those rural areas, into their villages, and to misbehave in households, and to rape women actually, and brutalize kids. And when Pakistan military got evidence of that, they realized that this is a war they should not fight. They can still fight it, but they should not fight it because they'd be killing their own brethren, Bengalis. There was also another very moral stance on the part of Pakistan military. When USSR landed its fleet into the Indian Ocean towards Arabian Sea, and United States of America on the side of Pakistan and USSR on the side of India during this war of 1971 in East Pakistan, the world came on the brink of a third world war, and the Pakistan military realized it, and they didn't want a third world war after the carnage of the First and the Second World War in 1971. If the Third World War was going to happen because of this crisis in East Pakistan, because of the crisis in Pakistan, they didn't want to be the military force that would be igniting it. And so what did they choose to do? Instead of continuing to bomb civilians, continuing to bomb hospitals, continuing to be insane, instead of committing war crimes, they surrendered. And India took 91,000 Pakistani soldiers as prisoners of war. And afterwards, when Indira Gandhi threatened that she is going to drag them into International Criminal Court, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was the Prime Minister of Pakistan at the time. And he visited India, and he talked to Indira Gandhi, and he put in front of her evidence that Pakistan and its intelligence agencies had in their possession that Indian military officers were impersonating Pakistan military, were wearing the uniform of the Pakistan military, and were committing war crimes inside East Pakistan and trying to dump it on Pakistan. And Zulfikar Ali Bhutto told Indira Gandhi that if you drag us into the International Criminal Court, we will drag you into International Criminal Court on the basis of our evidence. And through negotiations, he was able to bring back the POWs honorably from India to Pakistan. The reason I am citing the example is that there is a military force, perfectly wise, mature, and moral in its conduct. And yet the West, at the slightest of opportunities, starts saying, oh, Pakistani nukes are in trouble. Pakistani nukes should be given up. Pakistani nukes should be in our custody. And here is Israel committing war crimes and showing emotional instability of the people who are making the decision to fight this war. And there is no fear expressed by the West that nuclear weapons in the hands of Israel could land in wrong hands, be they the hands of the Israeli military force using it for the wrong purpose and causing a huge global flashpoint. You're watching Zeenia Satti. I'll be back with more commentary on this war